Are you ready to discover a project future that will transform your workflow? Join us in this detailed tutorial from our expert trainer who walks you through each step. For an even more hands-on experience, you can download the course files linked below and follow along. Let's get started.
The Task Inspector in Project helps us identify issues that we might need to resolve. And we've actually seen this already earlier in the course. For example, when we open up some of our project files, we get that planning wizard pop up, letting us know that we have some kind of scheduling conflict. And that is really the Task Inspector in action in the background. So let's take a look at the Task Inspector in more detail. Now, I've made a couple of changes to this project so that we have a couple of issues that we need to resolve. So if we scroll down, you can now see that both task 11 and task 15, I've got a little red icon next to these letting me know that we have over allocated resources. And if I take a look here, I can see that the IT trainer is scheduled for this particular task. And then task number 15, she's also scheduled at the same time to complete this task. So all of these tasks combined within this task period is causing her to be over allocated. She's gone past her hours. So obviously we need to do something about this and we need to fix this scheduling conflict. So let's right click on the task and you can see here we have two options. We can reschedule to the next available date or we can fix this issue in Task Inspector. So let's open up the Task Inspector. It's going to show this pane on the left-hand side where we can see the task name at the top. We can see the issue. We have over allocated resources. Then we have some actions we can take, followed by some information about what's causing this conflict. So it says factors affecting the task's start date. And I can see that this task has a start no earlier than constraint of the 13th of April 2023. So let's take a look at our two actions. We can either choose to move the task to the resource's next available time, or we can view the over-allocated resources in Team Planner. So this second option is basically saying to me, you could assign another resource to this task to fix this over-allocation. Alternatively, I can move the task to the next available time for this resource. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to select the first option. We're going to move it and it gets rid of that particular over allocation. I can select another task that has over allocations. And this time I can see factors affecting this task start date is the predecessor upload to the cloud. So this particular task relies on the task before it to complete before that task starts. But we have over allocated resources. So again, I'm going to say move task to resources next available date. And if we just take a look at that, you can see what's happened just here. It's basically split the task up. So the admin assistant is going to start work on this task. Then a bit further down, they're allocated to spend time on another task, and then they can pick up the task where they left off. Now, it might be that you want it to happen like that, or you might not. So you might want to readjust the schedule a little bit so that the task isn't split. So how you want to manage this type of error is entirely up to you. But just know that you have those options within Task Inspector. If task resources are over allocated because they are assigned to more than one task, we can choose to delay a task. So I've added in some resource over allocations into my project plan just to demonstrate this for you. And you can see that tasks 10 and 11 are currently showing that I have over allocated resources. So if we take a look at task 10, this is assigned to the IT trainer, and task 11, I also have tasks assigned to the IT trainer. So effectively, she's working on two different tasks. She's writing the training notes and recording the training videos at the same time, and she's gone over her hours. Now notice that these two tasks aren't linked together. So if we go to task 11, take a look in the predecessors column. We don't have a predecessor. So it means that task 11 can start at any time in relation to task 10. We don't have to wait for task 10 to finish before task 11 starts. Now, having predecessors is really helpful to kind of combat resource over allocations, because when you add in your predecessors, the schedule gets organized so that one task starts directly after the other one finishes. Now, if you have some tasks in your schedule which don't have predecessors, like this task doesn't, then what we can do is add in a delay. And we can delay this task until when the resource has more time. Now, the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to change the way that we're viewing our schedule. So let's go to the Gantt chart drop-down. We're going to go to More Views. And from here, we're going to choose Leveling Gantt. And let's click on Apply. So we can now see some basic information about our tasks. We can see the task name, the duration, the start and the finish, and also the successors and the resource names. But we have an additional column called Leveling Delay. And we can use this to add delays into our schedule. Now notice here in this Leveling Delay column, the durations look a little bit different. Instead of saying days, it says E days. And the E represents elapsed time. And E-days are a bit different to regular days because they include working and non-working time. So it includes everything on the calendar, including weekends. So what we're going to do here is we're going to select a task with over allocation. So let's just go for task 11. And I'm going to use scroll to task to find that in the Gantt chart. Now, another thing I'm also going to do is I'm going to change my time scale just here. And I'm going to change the units to, let's go for days and click on OK. And I'm also going to zoom out a little bit to make this easier to see. So once again, we can see that tasks 10 and 11 are both happening at the same time. And they're both assigned to the IT trainer. So what I could do here is I could delay task 11 so it occurs after task 10. So task number 10 runs from the 28th of March to the 11th of April with a duration of 10 days. So I want to delay task 11 effectively by 10 days. Now, if we go into the leveling delay field and we change this to 10 days, let's check out what happens to the schedule. So I'm going to set my E days to 10 days. Now, notice what's happened on the timeline just here. Task 11 is still occurring when task 10 is taking place. And that's because when I've typed in 10 E days, I haven't accounted for the fact that E days includes weekends as well. Now, this task spans across quite a few weekends, so you can see it's quite a long task. We've got one weekend just there showing in grey, we have another weekend just there, and we just catch the end over here as well. So the actual number of E-days that we want to delay this task by is going to be 16 days. Now notice what happens to the resource allocation in task ID 10 when I change this to 16 E-days. You can see it disappears. And if we check out the schedule, it's now moved that task along. And you can see we have that olive green line that shows the delay on this task. Inactive tasks are tasks that appear in our schedule, but they're not taken into account when we're accounting for dates, costs, and workloads. Now, to see our inactive tasks, I'm going to switch into summary view. So let's right click in the corner and we're going to select the summary table. And one thing you want to make sure that you're viewing when you're in this group is you want to make sure that you can see the project summary task at the top and all of the summary tasks. So remember, if you can't see those, if you jump across to Gantt chart format, the show hide group, you want to make sure you've got a check in both of those boxes. Now let's just take a quick look at this summary task view. We can see our task names, we can see the durations, we can see start and finish dates, the percentage complete, the cost, and the number of work hours. So I can see currently my total project cost is $22,046 with 1,496 work hours. And I can also see that this project is due to finish on the 17th of October 2023. And this is why this is so handy having this top level project summary task, as it just gives us a really good overview of everything that's going on in our project. Now, it might be when we're working through our project that some of these tasks we don't really need anymore. Now, we don't want to delete them, we still want to keep them in the schedule, but we don't want them to contribute to things like the cost or the duration of the project. For example, let's go down here and find a task that has a pretty hefty cost attached. So this task just here, task 16, training team review. I can see the cost for this task is $4,480. So this is going to contribute quite heavily to the total overall project costs. Now let's say that management decide that we no longer need to do a training team review. Now instead of deleting this, we could make the task inactive instead. So we're going to select it, jump up to the task ribbon, and then in the schedule group, we have a button called Inactivate. So let's click this. And what you'll notice is that it grays out that particular task. It shows with a strike through, so it kind of looks like it's been deleted or completed. It is in fact still in the schedule, but it's now not contributing to any of the overall costs. So if we now scroll up and take a look at our total cost, that cost has come down by just over $4,000. It's now at $17,566. It's also changed the number of work hours as well, because we've removed 56 working hours from this particular schedule. So inactive tasks still show, we can still see them, but they don't contribute towards our totals. Now, when it comes to inactive tasks, we can still work with them. I can still open up this task by double clicking. I can make changes to it. I can still edit it. And if at any point in time, management come back to me and say, you know what, I think we do need to do a training team review, then we can simply reactivate the task. We don't need to add it back into the schedule. So that's why it's quite useful to make tasks inactive that you don't think you're going to need, as opposed to deleting them from the schedule. So to reactivate a task, we simply need to go back to the task tab. In the schedule group, we're just going to untoggle inactivate, and that's going to make that task active again. And now all of that money is added back into our cost column. We can add notes to any tasks or resources. And we really use notes as a means of communicating with other people. For example, I might want to leave a piece of information, a warning, or maybe just a comment about a specific task. So let's select one of the tasks in our plan. Now I'm going to scroll all the way down to task number 38, book hotel. Maybe I want to leave a note in this task that tells people what the hotel is, the hotel name, and also the contact number of the hotel. So adding a note is really simple. We just double click on the task to open up the task information window. And you can see that it's jumped to the notes tab at the top here. And this is where we can add our note. So we can see the name of the task at the top and the duration, and we can just simply type our note. So I'm going to type the name of the hotel. This is the Mondrian Hotel. And the contact number, we'll just say. Now notice we do have some formatting options when we're working with our notes. So I can select Mondrian Hotel, click on the A, and it's going to take me into my font formatting options. So I can change the actual font. I can change the font styles. Let's make this bold. I'm going to make it a bit bigger. Let's take it up to 12. And I'm going to change the color to purple and click on OK. And let's just change the phone number. Let's just make that italic and click on OK. Notice we have some other formatting options. We can align to the left, to the center, or to the right. We can apply bullets, or we can insert another object. So if we want to insert something like an image or a different file, we can do that from here as well. So that is our note, pretty straightforward. Now, when we click on OK, notice what happens in the schedule. So in the indicator column, you can see we now have this little sticky note icon, which just lets me know that I have a note assigned to this task. Now, when I hover my mouse over this icon, I'm going to get a preview of that note. Now, because my note is really short, I can see all of the information contained within that note. Now, if you have a much longer note with more text in it, it's basically only going to show the first couple of lines of that note. So my recommendation is always put the most important information at the start of your note so that people can simply hover over, see it, instead of having to go in and take a look at that note from within the task. Now, when it comes to deleting a note, we can't right click and delete the note from here. Basically, what we would have to do is just reopen the task, go back to the notes field, and we would just delete out the note that we have in here, and that effectively gets rid of the note. Now I'm going to keep my notes, so let's just click on cancel. Now we can also insert notes or assign notes to resources as well. So for this, we need to switch to the resource sheet. So in the bottom corner where I have my different views, I'm going to switch across to resource sheet. Let's click. Now I can select my resource. So let's go for training team lead, double click to open, and we also have a notes field in here, which works in exactly the same way. Now, because the training team lead is an outside contractor that we've brought in, I might just want to add in here the contracting company that she works for. There we go. I can click on OK. And again, we can see that little note icon in the indicator column. In this exercise, exercise 9, I'd like you to practice some of the skills that you've learnt in this section of the course. So the first thing I'd like you to do is to add a 5-day delay to any of the work tasks in the schedule. I'd then like you to select a task and make the task inactive. Once you've done that, I'd like you to reactivate the task. And then finally, I'd like you to practice adding notes into tasks and formatting them. That's it, pretty straightforward. If you'd like to see my answer, then please keep watching. So the first thing I asked you to do here was to add a 5-day delay into any of the tasks in the spreadsheet. So in order to do this, we need to go to the Task tab. We're going to click the lower half of the Gantt chart button and we're going to go into More Views. Because what we want to bring up here is the leveling Gantt. Let's click on Apply. So the leveling Gantt gives us this leveling delay column with these E days in here. And remember, the E stands for elapsed days. Now I want to add a 5-day delay to any of these tasks. So let's select this task in here. I'm going to click in the leveling delay column and I'm going to change this to 5 days. Let's scroll to task and see how that's affected our schedule. And you can see that we have this olive coloured bar, which is showing that elapsed time. Now I'm going to switch back to my task entry table. So let's right click and go to task entry, because the next thing I asked you to do was to make any of the tasks in the schedule inactive. So I'm going to select one of the tasks that has a reasonable amount of cost, just so we can see how this affects the overall costs of the project. So let's select task number 8 here. We can see the costs in the cost column, and I'm going to make this task inactive. So up to the task ribbon in the schedule group, we're going to say inactivate. And notice as soon as I do that, the overall cost of this project is decreased by exactly that amount. The next thing I asked you to do was to reactivate this task. So that's a simple case of just clicking the inactivate button again. And the final thing I asked you to do was just to practice adding notes to a task. So I'm going to choose this task here, task number 15. Let's double click to open this up. And we're going to jump straight across to the Notes tab. So this task is to research franchise possibilities. So I might want to add a note in here. Get the list of possible collaborations from John. And if I want to change the font of this or format it in any way, I've got my buttons just above. So I'm going to make this italic and let's just make it a dark blue. Click on OK and click on OK again. And notice that when you do add a note, you get to see that little sticky note icon in the indicators column. Now, one other thing I'm going to do in here, I didn't actually ask you to do this, but you could deal with these over allocations in the task inspector. So I'm just going to right click and I'm going to say reschedule to the next available date just to fix those errors.
What was your favorite part of this tutorial? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Visit the Simon Says It channel, explore our videos and training sessions, and decide what you want to learn next.